Hi, thanks for joining us tonight on TCM. I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Our look at the films of Kathryn Grayson continues with a big, splashy Technicolor musical released toward the end of World War II. From MGM in 1945, it's Anchors Aweigh. Grayson plays Susan, a young woman who lives in Hollywood and meets two sailors on leave, Joe, played by Gene Kelly, and Brooklyn, a.k.a. Clarence, that's Frank Sinatra. More than anything, Susan wants to get a contract at MGM and audition for concert pianist Jose Iturbi. Considering Anchors Aweigh was released by MGM and also stars Iturbi, you can likely guess what happens. Nope, you're wrong. She never gets that audition, and she dies alone. No. For Frank Sinatra, rehearsal and preparation for the movie was something like boot camp. It was Sinatra's first film for MGM and the first of his 3 movies with Gene Kelly, and they hit it off, even as Kelly put Sinatra through 8 weeks of rehearsal with extensive lessons in dancing and acting for the screen. It was Gene Kelly who saw me through, Sinatra later said. Kelly, meanwhile, credited Sinatra with working harder than anyone else he'd ever encountered, a stark contrast to the one-take reputation Sinatra had later in his Hollywood career. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Kelly worked with Stanley Donen to choreograph a live-action number with a cartoon character. It's one of MGM's most famous scenes, Gene Kelly and Jerry the Mouse together on screen. Anchors Aweigh became one of the biggest hits of 1945, nominated for 5 Oscars, including Best Picture. It is also the movie that brought Gene Kelly a Best Actor Oscar nomination, the only competitive Oscar nomination of Kelly's great career. From 1945, also with 9-year-old Dean Stockwell in just his second movie role, Anchors Aweigh. Kathryn Grayson, who played Susan in Anchors Aweigh, began taking voice lessons as a child. When she was 18, MGM signed her to a contract. The studio was looking for a replacement for Deanna Durbin, who had left the studio and signed with Universal. Grayson's arrival at MGM began another cycle of professional training, and after 18 months, she made her film debut opposite Mickey Rooney in 1941's Andy Hardy's Private Secretary. Over the next 15 years, Grayson appeared in 20 films, mostly musicals, mostly at MGM. As for that memorable dance number in Anchors Aweigh between Gene Kelly and Jerry the Mouse, that was conceived by Kelly and his creative partner Stanley Donen. Kelly and Donen would go on to co-direct On the Town, Singin' in the Rain, and It's Always Fair Weather. Up next, Kathryn Grayson returns with her most frequent co-star, Howard Keel, the two of them singing on a floating stage.